Malcolm Jamal Warner. Malcolm's death wasn't related to any financial situations within the industry, but with something far deeper. And Malcolm didn't drown. He was injected with poison, and then the story was spun that he drowned. I'll talk a little bit more on this later. Malcolm Jamal Warner, born on the 18th of August 1970. Why did he die? And then his death was followed so closely with two more celebrity deaths: Ozzy Osbourne, whom they refer to as a rock god, and Hulk Hogan, whom they refer to as God of the wrestling world. Now, it's really sad for his family if they hear or know that Malcolm was taken out, unfortunately, in a ritual by the demons that run this planet for the most part. They deal in alchemy, others call this witchcraft or magic. But because we live in an environment that is biological in nature, i.e., Mother Earth, and nature grows in living soil, so rituals act like tainted blood flowing through the living earth and us. And with this, the rituals carry messages throughout the system. And if these messages are taken as orders or directives, then of course our whole Earth's biological system, as well as us humans, are affected in some way. That's the danger in a negative ritual, as of course you can also perform positive and uplifting and healing rituals. Now, Malcolm was a beacon of light, not bought by Hollywood, the Hollywood elite system. He was a valuable beacon of light and hope to many, a powerful one. And coming up to his 55th birthday, which would have been on the 18th of August this year, 2025, well, after age 55, this energy of the master number 55 links a person, any person, with the power of the initiate. Excuse me. Now, Malcolm also carries the energy, the godlike energy, in that his role as a teenager in The Cosby Show, his name was Theo. And Theo is a short form for the word God, Theos. It is used in the New Testament to refer to a divine being or supreme being, such as God. So basically, you could say that Malcolm was a channel for the light, for divine energy. I mean, we all are, but his role, in society and in our minds for such a long time amplifies this energy. Now, just how, for example, President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso is transforming his country and giving hope and strength to not only the people of Burkina Faso, but to the entire African continent and beyond. Well, Malcolm Jamal Warner would have been put in a position like Ibrahim Traore, but for America and the entire Western world, especially the world of Black people everywhere, in fact, including Africa. But he would have been a beacon to draw untold numbers of people under one umbrella of peace, hope, progression, and so on. But because the establishment works entirely on the numbers and symbolism system, they knew that the time was shortly coming when Malcolm would be thrust into this kind of almost like a messianic position on the world stage, even more than he was before his passing. Now, because I know Already millions know of him through his role in The Cosby Show, but countless millions more would have heard and seen and know of him for his next greatest role as a channel of divine light. So, what happened? Of course, he was taken out by the demons. But why does this always happen? Because too many people either don't care or don't know or don't want to know. They just live in their old limited world of consumerism and think that this box that they're in is good enough and they don't need to look any further until something drastic happens to them personally that shows their thinking and awareness from the limited state that they have been in for so long. What I'm trying to say is that we need to open our eyes and start to support each other more now, so that the elite, don't get away with what they've been doing for so long with all our other black leaders. So, as I said, Malcolm Theo was to be a symbol of hope for Black people everywhere, and the elite recognized the signs, and so they took him out. Now, his three-pronged name of Malcolm Jamal Warner, whenever you see a name like this, it embodies so much power, like the energy of the symbol called the triquestra. That's Triquestra. That powerful ringed triquestra, uh, it to tap into the power of three, like Father, Son, and Mother, or what they call the Holy Ghost. And we even hear things like said in three, like adjectives: tall, taller, tallest, big, bigger, biggest, and so on. Ready, steady, go. Three wishes, three dimensions. Three colors to the traffic lights. And there's such a long list, and three is also about completion because it is the first enclosed shape in geometry using straight lines. However, uh, the triquestra is like three interlinking petal shapes, and of course connected, as I said, with the power of three, a very ancient power symbol of time, length and breadth and width and so on. And of course, three represents that most sacred and ancient word, Om. So whenever we refer to Malcolm, we would always say Malcolm Jamal Warner. And so that creates, as I said, a powerful pool of energy around him. And because he was such a positive and upright person, that energy collects around him and keeps amplifying all the time. So that is why, he would have become a powerful, powerful beacon of light. Now, because Malcolm's light was so shining bright, and remember, as I said, he was a channel for the light, for messages that would have come through him from the ancestors or ancestors to share with the Black population and anyone who wants to listen, really, much like his namesake Malcolm X, but even more widespread than Malcolm X. He would have been. Malcolm X was a person par excellence, and he paved the way for others after him. Malcolm um, stroke Theo was going to be the next Malcolm X plus many times more. He was going to be that powerful. So the system poisoned him and put out a message that he was drowned to hide, the fact that they actually killed him. Uh, he was deliberately murdered through poisoning. And if you want to know how I know, it's because I had the vision. I have many that has come to pass, like 9/11, for example, when I saw it, a whole 6 days before it happened. And the proof is that I was in a lecture at my university when I screamed it out, and the whole class heard, including my lecturer, of course. And I had to go home immediately. I was in such a state. Anyway, that is what I saw. injected in his left arm after being grabbed by two men restraining him. Now, I don't need to go into any more details here, but to let you know that this is what happened. I hope that more in tuned or attuned sensitives like myself have seen the same thing and speak out about it as I am doing. It's not easy to make myself vulnerable with this, but I thought it was worth it for beloved Malcolm. Okay, let's continue. After Malcolm was murdered, Malcolm being a channel for the godlike channeling of divine power. Um, so, just to make sure that Malcolm's spirit did not escape the confines of this, our reality, and exit out into freedom and back to the ancestors, they sent Ozzy Osbourne after him. Ozzy Osbourne, of all people, of the Black Sabbath, and who gave himself the title of the Prince of Darkness, who would bite off the heads of live bats and so on stage. And he was killed in order to go after Malcolm's spirit and lock it down so that Malcolm could not get out of this earth construct. Uh, and to be with the ancestors. Now, um, remember that if you call yourself the Prince of Darkness, then you open yourself up and you become a channel and a container for the energy of the Prince of Darkness. Plain and simple, right? But the ancestors, they were not letting go of Malcolm's spirit, and Ozzy wasn't winning over Malcolm. Therefore, the Dark Forces had to send in another backup in the form of Hulk Hogan, a really racist and unsavory character. Why Hulk Hogan? Well, first, even the word Hulk means big, large, powerful, enormous, and so on. And the darkness needed this energy of the Hulk because the devil channeling through Ozzy, Wizard of Oz, wasn't working. So Hulk, the backup, was taken out of this world to try to finish the job that Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness, the channel for the Prince of Darkness, couldn't perform with Malcolm. Basically, this was a tug of war between the light that between the light that so I've lost my train of thought. Uh, Basically, this was a tug of war between the light, that's our black ancestors, and Malcolm, their protege, and Ozzy, representing Satan, Prince of Darkness, and Hulk, the backup wrestler, in order to try to wrestle Malcolm from the ancestors, if you hear what I'm saying. But remember, always remember that the name of a thing or person is its power. There is so much information that I could write a book on the connection between these three individuals, but I want to make this video under 30 minutes. So I hope that this information helps you to understand how deep the rabbit hole goes. There is a demonic war going on, and more of us have got to recognize and realize this, otherwise, we are not going to win. The so called elite will keep killing our icons while making us, the collective, become weaker and weaker and even more disillusioned, so then that it's easier for them to control us. So stay focused, stay warned. Keep your spiritual ears and eyes and spiritual armor and spiritual understanding on full alert. The fact that they murdered Malcolm and then sent two of the darkest agents after his soul, my goodness, I mean, Ozzy the Devil, Osbourne, and racist Hulk Hogan, shows just how serious the dark forces take this challenge of the light via people, beings like Malcolm, to their way of being. So, once again, Malcolm was taken out to lock down the spiritual energy and the light that he was, and the beacon that he was going to be even more in the world. And starting from his birthday coming up in August, and it was just too much for them. They were so scared, so they took him out. All right, I think I leave it at like that for now. I mean, there's so much like numerology and much more symbolism around it, but this is just a little taster. So thanks for listening, and if you like what you hear, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, Diana.